2,546 attack,
Holy crap! A dare?
Welcome to Amiibo Base Camp, where whether you're an Amiibo beginner or legend, we're here to help you start that climb up the Amiibo summit. Now, your guide on that Amiibo climb, here's Splice.
Hello and welcome to Amiibo Base Camp, where we help you on your Amiibo climb. I am Splice, and today I am joined by a new guest, SirFfuzzyLogik, who is going to be helping us on what's going to be a very interesting discussion on Pyra Mythra Amiibo, which at the time of the posting of this video is dropping today. So that's going to be very interesting how we're going to be able to discuss this. SirFfuzzyLogik, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I've been Amiibo trainer in the scene for about 4 years at this point. I've been working with a couple other people that I want to mention on pre-release Aegis stuff, and I couldn't have done any of this information or labbing without their feedback to bounce off of. But Fammy Demami, who I know you've worked with before, and Hector and Soy Sauce have all been incredibly helpful in a lot of my research and bouncing stuff off of. But yeah, on top of Amiibo, I do singing. I'm really into Sanderson stuff like Splice, and that's kind of my lot, so.
All right. Well, so let's get started with probably the question a lot of people are wondering in the comments are, wait, how can you be working on Pyra Mythra if they're just dropping today?
Not to get too much into it, but basically it's a recreated bin file that people have access to in the scene.
Basically, the programming for Amiibo gets put into the game long before the Amiibo ever goes live, and some people have been messing around with that to try and figure out what she's going to be like on day one so that we can make guides like these ones. So we thank people for putting that together. So let's just start with the question, why should people train Pyra Mythra?
Before we get too deep into anything, I would like to mention that because this is pre-release, none of this is tested on the actually released Amiibo, so things are subject to change. But
yeah. And if things are significantly different, we will have an updated guide later on.
Yeah. They don't typically tend to be significantly different, but it's just the typical, like, addendum that you always add to pre-release information.
Exactly.
Aegis is, honestly, in my opinion, an incredibly fun Amiibo to train, because they are the most flexible Amiibo I've ever worked with. You can kind of do whatever you want with them, in a lot of ways.
DLC privilege at its finest, wonderful.
Of their entire moveset, I've only found one move that feels like objectively you don't want to train this move, and that's just their back air, because it's just redundant to up air. And besides that, everything else has a use in any specific training style.
Okay. Well, let's start with they other than Pokemon Trainer, they are the only character that has a switching mechanic that completely changes all their abilities. So let's start there. Do you have the ability to control how often they'll switch, or is it like Pokemon Trainer and they kind of just do it whenever they want?
Hey everyone, this is Splice from the future. Just want to reiterate what Fuzzy said earlier, that this is in the highly experimental phase of Pyra Mythra. So every bit of information he's giving is to the best of our understanding. There's some debate on this next topic, but understand we're giving you the latest information, so please take it with a grain of salt. We'll correct it later if we need to.
They actually do have good Switch AI.
Okay.
And they have Switch AI you can train.
Wait, I want to focus on that second statement. They have AI that you can train, meaning they behave differently from one another?
They don't behave differently from one another, but you can train how they switch.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're familiar with bin values, if you go in depth on Amiibo bin values. Aegis has 3 fighter-specific values. Fighter 1 is Foresight. You can directly train how much Mythra uses Foresight.
Okay.
And then Fighter 2 is how often the Amiibo switches to Pyra, and Fighter 3 is how often the Amiibo switches to Mythra.
Interesting.
So you can raise those separately by, say, starting a match as Pyra, halfway through the match switching to Mythra once and playing the rest as Mythra, and then you'll only increase the swap to Mythra without increasing the swap to Pyra.
Okay, interesting. That's good to know. Is it now something that's I've seen with Pokemon Trainer is that if you do side B with one, they'll all three forms will spam side B, which isn't as bad for them as opposed to other moves because side B is really good for all three of Pokemon Trainer. But is that similar for Pyra Mythra?
Yes, not side B specifically because side B has weird specific coding involved with it. But yeah, if you teach Mythra to down tilt, then your Pyra will down tilt. Gotcha.
All right. So that's getting a bit of the mechanics of what will happen out of the way. Let's start with Pyra. What moves should you use as Pyra if you want to win a match?
So a big thing to consider is even though you do have more control over switching with AI, they will still switch no matter what you do. If you have a higher switch to Pyra than a higher switch to Mythra, it's likely they won't stay on Mythra for long because they'll be more likely to switch back to Pyra. But if you're building an Aegis Amiibo with a Pyra focus, F-Tilt is really good. It's really strong, it has really good reach. Up Smash as well can secure a lot of really early kills. Pyra,
F-Smash?
F-Smash, using it lightly because it's very slow and punishable. It's like Ganon F-Smash with more horizontal range and less vertical range.
That's interesting. We'll discuss more in Raid Boss area, but when Pyra Mythra is really good at killing Amiibo with it, so I was thinking that might carry over.
Yeah, I have some fun ideas for Raid Boss Aegis.
Okay.
Yeah, F-Tilt's really good. Up Air juggling is really good for Pyra, more so than on Mythra. So if you're doing a Pyra-focused Amiibo, Up Smash, Up Air are both really, really good. And then if you really want to be cheeky with it, you can do Dare Close to Ledge is obviously going to be phenomenal on Pyra.
Yes.
You want to be careful with that one because it's bad on Mythra because it sends upwards with Mythra. So I say mixing in a little when you're doing off.
I'd say it's a double-edged sword, but that might be too on the nose for this pun.
Nair is also good off stage for both Pyra and Mythra.
What about her neutral B?
It's very good. It's better for Mythra.
Okay.
But it's really fast and has very little end lag. And it kills.
Now I'm suddenly realizing I gotta make sure I clarify. Neutral B's her little flame wreath, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where she spins around. And...
Yeah, I suddenly questioned myself. Do you have issues with Amiibo overcharging that ability?
I've had no issues with that. Okay. But I haven't fully tested that because I feel like just trying to get them to charge it would be bad.
No.
So I haven't really messed with it.
All right. Those are and then side B, does she use that well?
She is hard-coded to use it at ledge.
Okay. Interesting.
It's very difficult to get Aegis to use side B on stage.
That's a shame.
Pyra, for some reason, seems more prone to doing so than Mythra does. But Pyra is hard-coded to use it at ledge. And unlike Mythra, Pyra actually has good options for ledge trapping. So if you're doing a Pyra-focused Amiibo, you'll want to focus more on ledge trapping than going off stage. And if you're doing Mythra focused, you'll want to focus more on doing Nairs off stage and stuff like that.
All right. Well, I guess we've already dipped our toes a bit into this. What are the best moves to use for Mythra?
Down tilt.
Okay.
Down tilt leads into imagination. You can get down tilt up smash, down tilt nair, down tilt fair, down tilt neutral B. F tilt also really, really good on Mythra. F smash really, really good on Mythra because it's fast and is like one of her only kill options. Up smash is also really good on Mythra because it's a multi-hit, catches jumps. And then the big thing with Mythra is instead of training shield or parry, you obviously want to use the fact that you can specifically train Foresight, because instead of a parry, which sometimes Amiibo panic response out of, Foresight will always put Aegis in a beneficial position to punish.
All right. That's good to hear. That's, I mean,
I'm personally inclined to think that in at least vanilla Amiibo training, Mythra focused is going to be the meta.
Okay.
Because of the Foresight advantage.
I mean, I guess we're kind of jumping around here, but why do you specify vanilla?
Because
as opposed to
Pyra
spirits?
X 21 shot kills.
Yeah. So you're saying we're just going to be, because the Pyra plan is just going to be just get a murder early.
Yeah, basically, like, raid boss Pyra, I'm thinking, like, why not run giant full offense?
Okay. That'll be, okay, we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Are there any pre-programmed combos with the Pyra and Mythra that people can use?
Yeah, pretty much anything out of down tilt again.
For both of them?
With Mythra.
Okay.
Pyra can get a couple things out of down tilt, but Mythra can get a ton of things out of down tilt. Really, really early on, before I picked up this character, pre-release training was just kind of spamming up B on stage. But even if you don't teach it that at all, Mythra will still do things like down tilt into up B, and it combos. Or Mythra will do down tilt into short hop neutral B, which can kill. Down tilt into up smash, which can kill. Down tilt F smash works at low percents. Down tilt F tilt, down tilt nair, down tilt up air, down tilt fair. So, like all of these things are just hard coded too. Like, they just work.
All right. Well, then let's move. I mean, are there any? There's got to be some downsides, though. Are there any quirks to the AI that you've noticed?
Mythra can get really, really spammy if you don't get her move balance right.
Explain spammy for a sortie.
Because her frame data is so good, she can just kind of throw out 6 down tilts in a row without any consideration of where the enemy is.
Okay.
And if you don't get her like move balance right, don't get her offensive values right or her near values right, sometimes it can lead to a lot of issues where she's just kind of swinging at ghosts.
Gotcha. All right. Anything for Pyra? Like, does she have any recovery flaws?
I mean, they both have recovery flaws due to the nature of being the character that they are, and their recovery is an inherent flaw. But
I'm assuming, much like Pokemon Trainer, they switch forms to make sure they get the right recovery.
they switched. I've noticed that they will almost always switch to Mythra when recovering.
Okay.
They'll try to be on Mythra when recovering because she has better air drift. Her up B doesn't send her straight down, and she has her side B to recover with. So,
Okay.
your Aegis switching to Mythra when they're recovering is a good thing, no matter if you're training Pyra focus or not.
And that's not something you'd need to train them for. It's hard-coded.
Yep.
All right. Well, then let's move on to spirits then. Because they're kind of in an interesting situation with spirits. Like, 'cause they have, like, weapon attack obviously is good for both of them. Almost everything involves a sword.
Yeah.
But picking after that, there's some interesting choices.
I would say if you're looking to go strictly meta, not including Big 5, Big 7,
Yes, obviously the usual bands.
air defense is going to be really, really good for them.
I might need to just ban air defense just for sheer, like, let's get interesting people.
Air defense is like a really, really lame, really, really effective spirit, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not like it's offensive. It's just, or
It's
I get,
boring.
well, literally it's not offensive, but I meant in the,
It's boring. I get
yeah,
it.
it's just, it's boring. It's like, eh.
But that's why I specified if you're looking to build the best one you can, air defense is probably your best bet. And then there's, I would say, last slot is either another weapon attack or even just a blank slot.
Let's say people are forced to fill it because I want to say that.
I'd say another weapon attack,
Okay.
honestly. Because weapon attack...
No move speeds, no.
I mean, Mythra has plenty of move speed.
Yeah.
I would
Okay, but
say-
hear me out.
Pyra
Hear me
could
out.
use more, though.
What if she had more?
I mean, Pyra could use the move speed really well. For sure. Mythra, in my brain, how fast is too fast? Like,
there's no such thing. My goal is to put all speed on Mythra and see if she can just warp space around her.
well, I mean, probably. At that point, you're training a Sonic, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing a Pyra-focused amiibo, Fire Explosion attack could obviously be really good, because the tip of your F Smash is going to have that, the pillar on your up B is going to have that, neutral B is going to have that, etc., etc. But Mythra doesn't really have any benefits for anything like that, because she kind of uses a sword.
Yeah, her element is light, which isn't really a thing.
That's why I would say if you're looking for something that's strictly optimal, a second weapon attack is probably your best bet. Mythra, specifically, if we're gonna toy with one of the commonly banned spirits, Insta-Drop is really fun on her. Like Insta-Drop Mythra is just kind of funny.
Almost will always be banned, but it could be fun.
Good. Her frame data is so good, she spends so much time in the air. Insta-Drop is just kind of funny on her.
All right, perfect. Well, then let's move on to something that's a little less important. But which skin is the best for Pyra Mythra?
The one that switches their colors, because I'm mean.
Yeah, it messes me up. I'll be honest. I get thrown off by that. It's incredible how much my brain can't do the switch in my head.
Yeah, I don't think I use that skin for either my Pyra or my Mythra, but I mean, my Pyra and Mythra are named Siri and Vivenna, so I
okay, good Brandon Sanderson reference, nice.
So I kind of try to match that a little bit. So.
All right, well then let's get to what's going to be the interesting and the part that you're going to probably regret. Where do you think they're going to be tier-wise in the meta once we start getting Pyra Mythra in here?
This question's dangerous because I might look like an idiot, but I don't care.
And that's the correct attitude.
My prediction is probably going to be somewhere in the realm of B to A.
All right.
B plus, or A.
So high, mid, or low, high.
Yeah. I don't think they have much potential for A plus, just because their big core issue is if you train them for Mythra, you're not using Pyra's best kill options. If you train them for Pyra, your damage output isn't very good and you're not abusing Foresight. They don't really have AI flaws so much as they have issues that are inherent to the character that hold them back.
But what skills they have are really good.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they have some things that are keeping them out of the high tiers, but what they have going for them is solid.
All right, well, let's move the conversation to the part where I think is going to be the most interesting, which is going to be Pyra Mythra as raid bosses.
Well, there's kind of two different outlooks you could take here, right? You could train a balanced Pyra and Mythra. I would say Mythra raid boss is just not the best option.
See, my instincts watching people fight raid bosses tell me that Mythra is going to be the devastating force.
Yeah.
Just because her speed is a problem.
My thought is, like, giant Pyra can just, like, one-shot a person with F Smash.
Can. But I think humans are a bit smart about getting out of it.
Yeah. Mythra's speed is really, really good. You'd be surprised at how well Pyra can use her F-tilt to space.
Okay.
And then that can rack up damage really, really quickly when you have...
It can get kills in raid boss form.
Yeah. So...
Here's I think Mythra is going to be the more consistent fighter if you focus on her. I think Pyra is going to have the more holy crap, that's a raid boss moments.
Yeah.
Where it just kills someone at 20% and you just throw your hands up like, well, I guess I didn't get hit by F Smash once.
I feel like that's just going to be that character in general, where Mythra is going to be more consistent and Pyra is going to be like, haha, you died at 40.
Yeah. What moves in particular do you think are going to be the really problematic ones for humans to take on?
F-tilt, F-smash.
My gut tells me F-tilt is probably going to be the bigger one.
Yeah, but with Mythra, F-smash.
Yeah.
is kind of what I'm thinking. With Pyra, F Smash shouldn't be an issue against humans, but with Mythra, that F Smash can come out surprisingly quick and still has some decent kill power on it. Up B, or not up B, up smash is going to be good as well. It's a lingering hitbox that kills for both of them. A move that I forgot to mention earlier that's like a cornerstone of their gameplay, and I don't know why I forgot to mention it. Down smash is like one of their best moves. Period.
Really? Interesting.
Really, really fast startup, really, really low end lag, really, really nasty angle.
Okay. It's not one I've seen too much, just because mostly, for those who don't know, Pyra Mythra is the most popular choice for fighting raid bosses because Pyra allows for kills at early percentages, and Amiibo have an issue with basically, if they're not right against you and they're not far away, in the middle ground, they tend to have issues. Ganondorf's F Smash is another one Amiibo they'll just run into charged F Smashes because they don't read it properly. And the same thing happens with Mythra, along with her up B. So
yeah,
that F Smash I've learned is quite devastating, but we don't see much down smash because usually if you're in range for the down smash, you've already made a mistake against Amiibo type of thing.
Yeah, but thankfully when you're an Amiibo instead of a player, I mean, the Amiibo isn't going to space. They're going to want to like get your base. And having a really, really high frame data move that sends at a pretty good angle is always a nice thing to have in that situation. Honestly, down smash is their most spammable smash attack.
Okay.
It's a really good kill option. It's a really good get off me tool. It's a really good damage option. It's an all-purpose move that kind of does whatever you want for both vanilla, spirits, and raid boss.
All right, perfect. Well, what spirits would you think would be effective on this Amiibo? Look, weapon attack for a raid boss, yeah, obviously. But let's move beyond that. I think move speed is going to be a big one for both of them. Getting Pyra a little quicker and Mythra even faster will cause problems. But
I could see that.
What else is out there that could be fun?
If you're doing Pyra focus, landing lag down.
That makes sense, given her some air options.
Because Pyra's aerials are really good, and all of them kill.
Yeah. What about this is just an if you're going Mythra focused, what would you think about something like additional midair jump?
I'm an additional midair jump denier.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of that spirit, and I never really have been.
I will note our most successful Amiibo in the tower has it actually.
Really?
Yeah, it's a Yoshi though, so it's a little bit different of a situation.
That's a different situation.
Although he uses it to go out deep and just make recovery really uncomfortable for everyone else.
If I'm looking at it from a strictly like analytical perspective, however, if you want your Aegis Amiibo to have higher longevity, their recovery is bad and exploitable. And if you're trying to train a raid boss that has high longevity, I could see additional midair jump being really beneficial.
And I think especially if you're going to be aggressive off stage.
Exactly. And there's merit to that because Pyra down air spikes on the entire thing, basically.
Yeah,
and
the thing is
it's
devastating.
really, really strong. Mythra Nair is a big multi-hit that covers a lot of space. If you jump with it, or like you can just create a hitbox wall, basically. Obviously, Mythra Fair off stage just kind of bats people away. Pyra Fair off stage just kills.
Yeah, that's not a bat. That's a full on cudgel.
Yeah. So, another move I forgot to mention that's really good for both of them for like just a general approach option is dash attack.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Dash attack is another move you can just kind of throw out willy-nilly. With Pyra, that kills.
I'm assuming more so versus humans than Amiibo, since Amiibo can be really good at perfect shielding.
Yeah. But even versus Amiibo, I mean, like, Pyra's can get some surprisingly early kills, and Mythra's is really, really fast and hard to punish.
Okay, well, let me ask this then. What about shield damage for a Pyra focus, maybe?
I could see it. There's a decent chance Pyra's going to be breaking your shields anyway without it.
Okay.
Mythra can spam on a shield like nobody's business, though. So shield damage from Mythra could be really funny, because then you can get, like, 2 F-tilts on a shield, and then you have no shield.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
So,
Do you have any really oddball spirit picks that you think could be fun for them?
Giant.
That's not really that oddball. That's fairly
I
common.
know, but, like, I know, but, like, that's just, like, first thing that comes to mind. Giant would be really funny. I'm having a hard time thinking of anything, really. I feel
Okay.
like they could use...
Okay, let me throw out an idea.
Okay.
Pyra, who does a lot of side B with Steel Diver.
It's really... I think it's an interesting idea, but it's really difficult to get Pyra to use side B in a spammy way on stage.
Okay.
I think they... Aegis side B isn't the best move in the world. Because if Pyra misses, it leaves her incredibly exposed. If Mythra gets shielded, it leaves her incredibly exposed. So...
Well, darn, because one of our top 10 Amiibo uses Steel Diver in the tower, and it's one of the most unique raid bosses, and I'm now trying to figure out how to shove this square peg into a lot of round holes for my own amusement.
Because of how powerful Pyra's smash attacks are, I could see Black Hole being really funny.
Interesting. Black Hole. Well, and I guess Hyper Smash attacks would also be decent on her as well.
Yeah. So, like,
actually, both of them.
If you lead with Pyra, open with Black Hole, have Hyper Smash attacks, Pyra just runs up and F smashes you, like, right at the start of the game while you're stuck in the Black Hole. I mean, you're looking at, depending on, like, your stat loadout, you're looking at upwards of 60% right at the start of the game, right? For a raid
Makes sense.
I mean, at that point, Pyra F-tilt's gonna kill.
Yeah. Okay, Black Hole. That could be interesting.
Yeah, Black Hole could be a funny idea to explore.
All right. I like where your mind's going with this. This is good. All right. It sounds like she's a lot of fun to train, too.
She is. She's incredibly flexible. You can do her...
Or I guess they are fun to train. It's weird anyway.
Yeah, you can do it Pyro-focused. You can do it Mythra-focused. You can do it balanced. You can do balanced with not a lot of switching. You can do balanced with a lot of switching, which I just recently started experimenting with. That one can be really funny because that can mess with other Amiibo sometimes.
Why so?
Just because of, like, the fact that she can use it as a spot dodge that doesn't stale.
Okay.
Sometimes that can confuse Amiibo when the hurt box just goes away, I think.
That does. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Someone who trains ice climbers and sees just the existence of Nana messing with AI, that makes sense.
I don't think it's going to be super consistent to do the high switch amount, but I think it's an interesting option you could explore.
Okay.
The thing is, I don't think either of them are particularly bad. It's not like a Pokemon trainer thing where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm at 130 and switch to Squirtle, I lose.
Yeah.
You know?
Danger Turtle's a problem.
Because even at high percents, low percents, no matter what, both of them have tools to work at any percent, and it's never like game's over if you switch to Mythra at high percent. Because she can just down tilt neutral B and then that kills. She can up smash and that kills. So that's a big relief with Aegis, is you don't have to worry about the switch ruining your chances at winning a match.
Yeah, unlike Pokemon Trainer, which has a 1 in 3 shot of just losing the game if Squirtle's out too much.
Exactly. And it's so funny that Mythra is the one that gets the controllable swap AI when the swap matters less for Mythra.
Well, it is what it is, I guess. Well, let me ask one more question before we head out. Fuzzy, you have told me that you're going to be getting back into streaming here lately. You might be getting into some content creation. So why don't you tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, it'll be SirFfuzzyLogik, and then that'll be... I don't know if I'm going to do Twitch or Kick yet, but I do, like, Pokemon Nuzlocke content. I do blind playthroughs where I, like, 100% games and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I basically do variety content. I play what I feel like when I feel like playing it. And then I'm thinking about getting into YouTube as well, which would be, again, under SirFfuzzyLogik. I haven't started anything yet, but I have some ideas cooking.
Well, you got to let ideas cook.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Well, I'll of course have links in the description. Fuzzy, thank you for helping us out here today.
Of course.
All right, and everyone, happy Pyra Mythra Day. Go train. It's a ton of fun. And I should say we will very soon be having some Pyra Mythra raid boss testing to try and get them in the Amiibo raid boss tower. So if you want to compete for that honor, be paying attention here on the channel. Be sure to follow it and be sure to pay attention to Twitter and get the links to submit your Pyra Mythra. That'll be coming out in the next few days. Well, this has been awesome. Fuzzy, you have an excellent day. And to those of you in the chat, stay fit, keep sharp, make good decisions. Splice, out.